Hi guys, welcome to the video. Today we're going to look at all the sketchbooks I used last year, why I need kind of different ones or why I use them, and I'll do a few demonstrations as well. So as you can see from these piles, there's quite a few sketchbooks here. Some are for watercolor, some are for sketching like with fine liners or graphite, some are for colored pencils. So quite a bit of why there are so many is partly for different mediums. Some are better with pastels, and sometimes, as you'll see, I just for the amount of time that I have, like I might grab a smaller sketchbook if I don't have much time. If I've got a little bit more time or I want to try something a bit more sort of expansive, I'll grab a larger sketchbook. These little arches ones have been so invaluable the last year. So this is the first time I tried this format of sketchbook. I was actually in 2023. This was the third of 3 plein air sketchbooks that I used in that year. So, but the first time I used this arches one. So I would take these everywhere with me and sketch things. And I really decided I liked the format. We'll come back to this page in a minute and kind of finish that off. I want to show you a couple of tips, but yeah, so if I even like this was just a water bottle with some roses that we just had on the table, so I just sketched that in here, but I was really enjoying this. I found that it was a good size to sort of still get a little bit of what I wanted to capture, but not too, I didn't have to do too much time on it. And like for example here, I sketched this on location and then I came back home and sketched this left page and did a little bit more to the sketch. But what was really interesting is because I was able to do the sketch, it was just really a 2 or 3 minute sketch on location. I found the color that I wanted. So that is why it's really good to do just even a small thing on location. This was the first one you would have seen this year. And then as the year kept going, every 2 or 3 months, I would get a new one of these and just keep working on these kind of plein air type things. So this is my current kind of plein air setup. I have this Blue Star Crafts pen roll, or like I've got pencils in here and some paintbrushes, a little very slim thing of watercolors, and then I have 2 watercolor palettes that I've been really enjoying in there as well. So I will just kind of tuck pencil or anything kind of I need in this pouch as well. And yeah, you can see here this was a day I was working on the Christmas tree, and I'll show you a little bit more of this process as we go through the videos. You can see Millie here. Hopefully you'll see a little bit of a difference here between why sometimes I prefer a different medium to watercolor, especially if I want a quick sketch. So this was kind of where I got to when I was there with Millie. It is a little bit difficult to do it with her, but also kind of I do limit myself in this book to 20 minutes per page. So this one was already up to 25 minutes plus the sketch, and then I just felt like it needed more work. So you can see I've brought it here to my desk, and you know it needed some more darks and just more work. So But I'll show you this compared to another sketch that I did in pastels, and that one you can see here, this one only took me like 5 minutes, and I could build the colors up very, very quickly to kind of get an idea of what I was looking to do, versus this watercolor one, which does just take longer to build that up. So that's always a consideration that I have. But let's go back to this page here. So what I wanted to show you here is how to build up a complicated scene pretty quickly. So this is kind of an adaptation of if you just have a few minutes, look at a scene like this and how you can quickly kind of decipher it. So you can see here, first of all, I'm breaking it into shapes. There's a triangle on each side, and then there's a couple of kind of vertical trees. So we're just kind of starting with some kind of simple shapes like that. You can see I've got this triangle kind of going down the side there, the little one at this left edge, and then starting to put in the shape of the branches and the trees there. So one of the things I really loved was this sweeping branch. You can't really tell in the photo, but it was really beautiful and kind of quite poignant at when we were there, at how low it was to the river. It was really nice. So the first thing I did, because in watercolor we work from the lightest to the darkest, I've looked through for the lightest areas of green, and then I've started to put those in. So this is a really good way to kind of decipher quite a complicated scene. So look for the lightest values to start with, and then start getting those down on the page, and then as you go you can build the next darkest value. So again, like I'm looking in here for some deeper greens. You can see that well, first of all, I started with a little bit of a darker green, and I mixed that with a little bit of a kind of deep moody brown, just to sort of grey that up a little bit and make it a little bit more natural. So yeah, you can just keep building the picture like this, or the painting. Now this is kind of a way, this is one of the things I wanted to say as well, was when I am doing kind of a demonstration like this, or when I'm painting kind of these very quick things for the channel, you can see, so the next thing I'm doing is just going in and starting to put in these branches, but yeah, I do kind of adapt techniques and methods. So in the watercolor class, the landscape class, we do go through fully the like the full proper method of how to do this, but often on the channel, just depending on the time, and also in these kind of quick plein air situations, we may not have time to do the full kind of wet on wet wash and wait for that to dry and then do something else. So you can see here that I am trying to just kind of get these different parts in, so that the whole, like, I'm not wetting all the pages, because if I've only got a few minutes, I don't want it to all go muddy, if that makes sense. So I'm doing these kind of more subtle washes of kind of wet on dry, and yeah, I'm just building that up, because I'm not making it too watery. Like, I can go straight in pretty much onto the branches and continue to build up those browns until I'm kind of satisfied with the values. And again, you can see, like, I'm just going around the painting and keep adding in darker values for the leaves there. And so that all dries pretty quickly. So then I'm going to just come back in and kind of fill in the actual water. And pretty much I'm doing this kind of the opposite way. So normally we would go in and fill in the water, let that dry, and then add the branches and things on top of that. But this is just a useful way if you have a few moments, and you'll kind of, sometimes the painting might get too muddy and you're wondering, why is everything running together? This is a good kind of a different way to approach it. Then here you can see I'm going back in kind of under this branch and just adding in some of that shadow. I'm basically using the same color that I used for the water and just kind of intensifying the the value of it just a little bit to kind of show that it's a shadow in the water. One thing I realized this week is quite a lot on the channel. I will adapt techniques to the time frame and things like that, but I have been really enjoying and appreciating the fact that in the Verdant garden, our landscape class, it has really been helpful for you to kind of see all those blanks filled in and to see kind of the breadth and depth of techniques from start to finish. So I wanted to feature a few of the comments here just to show you how important it has been to actually see behind the scenes the entire process and kind of build those skills from the beginning. And also just to say thank you. I am so glad you're loving the class. So this one here is a really large one. I think I started this one also at the end of 2023. This was my second kind of plein air book. And then I kept it going kind of through 2024. There's a few pages, you can see I started this sketch there with Millie one morning. We did some of these on the channel for the Floral Festival last year, and there's a few pages here that I still need to finish. I've sketched in kind of the idea, and I really enjoy these sketchbooks. So this is the Handbook Co. one. It is cellulose paper, it's not cotton, but what I like about it is the vibrancy of the colour. So you put the colour down and there's no absorbency or fading, so you kind of know what you're going to get. And you can see here I've gridded up some pages with tape. This page here I decided to just do some abstracts and just looking at colours, and really I ended up doing quite a lot of kind of more marbling on this page, which I really do like as well. But yeah, it's just a fun way to look at colour as well and just be quite playful. So the other thing I wanted to say about this sketchbook is it's quite large. I really enjoy this for kind of doing larger kind of spreads, but at the same time I was finding it as a plein air book, I was finding it quite difficult to finish all in one go. And so that's when I went to the smaller arches one, and I kind of found that sweet spot where it was enough space to work on and it wasn't taking too long. So that's why I really enjoyed those ones. You can see here these are two more actual watercolor. The others are watercolor as well, but these two I really use in a little bit more depth here. So they've got more of kind of my favorite watercolor papers. This one here is from La Paperie on Etsy, and this is Saunders Waterford watercolor paper, which is my favorite, but this is the hot press. So I really prefer the knot and the cold press, and the reason for that is because the smoothness of this hot press one, because it doesn't have sort of the thickness of the paper, it doesn't absorb as much watercolor, and so it dries very quickly. Sometimes when you're trying to work into wet washes, it's not very helpful for that. Having said that, obviously I still love it, and this paper is a little bit more difficult to get, but one of the benefits of this Saunders Waterford paper is, again, like the cellulose, but it's cotton. You don't see any fading, so the color that you put on the paper is the color that it will dry, which I really appreciate, and I really love that about the Saunders Waterford paper. So yeah, you can just see here like all the kind of little bits and pieces that we have done on the channel last year, things that I was thinking about. And again, these two sketchbooks are ones that I grab if I have more time and I really want to kind of think through a sketch or a painting in a little bit more detail, and really work on aspects of painting. You can see here, like even just putting in palette ideas and swatches. So there's lots of kind of things that you can put into a sketchbook as well. I guess that's one of the other things that I wanted this video to be, is kind of points of inspiration of things that you might want to include in your sketchbooks. You can see like a lot of work as well goes into like just color swatching, color mixing. Would this work together? Would this work? So yeah. And also painting the same thing in either different mediums or with different colors, or maybe like a graphite study and a watercolor study. So this one here is one that I made, and you can see here in this kind of first opening signature here, I got a question about the front cover. So I used a very thin glitter paper for the front cover, and then I kind of backed it with a piece of canvas. So I still kind of haven't finished. I wanted to sew that together somehow, just to keep that a little bit more sturdier. But yeah, this one is about 80% finished maybe. You can see I put a piece of wallpaper sample in the front there and just made like a little pocket so that any kind of extra little sketches and things I've tucked in there. Also this cotton envelope, I have tucked some things in there. And yeah, there's like quite a few like this page sketches that have been started and just have not been finished yet. But I really, and you'll kind of see that as a theme throughout the video, but I really do like the fact that if I have an idea, start getting that down, get that into your book. It doesn't have to be fully finished, but it'll jog your memory. Like you'll go back and be like, oh yeah, I wanted to kind of work on that a little bit more. I think often we have kind of little pockets of time, and it's just nice to go back and kind of try and remember like what we, it's not always easy to kind of wait for the perfect time. Like then you kind of forget about what you were thinking to maybe do. So yeah, I do often kind of put things down. I'll also wait as well. So if I kind of get stuck and I'm not sure kind of where to go from there, I will just leave the sketch and think about it a little bit more. Yeah. This sketchbook I made from the cotton Stonehenge paper. This is a little botanical etude that I painted that I tucked in there, but the actual sketchbook is made from the Stonehenge cotton paper. Again, it's a beautiful paper that the color is pretty true to when you put that down, it's not going to fade a lot. So you can see as well, like this was a piece of paper that I just had kind of on my desk under something, and then I just liked that, so I've tucked that in there as well. Painting palettes. This is a page here where I was just trying out this gouache that I got, and what I found here is I really enjoy the way that the neo colors go over the top of it. So it has quite a nice feeling. I've struggled a little bit with how to use the neo colors. I want to use them, but yeah, that was kind of the first time that I really enjoyed how they worked. So anyway, yeah. This one here is a Hanemule Nostalgie. This has more like kind of a thick cardstock in it, and I was really enjoying these. I think I started this one as well in 2023. This was the second one of these, and I really like these for mixed media. So I like the way that watercolor sits on the paper as well. It gives it quite a nice kind of granulating, but yeah, I don't know, a nice look. And then I also like other mediums in here. So this is the same scene that we did before, but in pastels. And so I really like how pastels go on here. I like how pencils go on here. This was a very quick and kind of soft pencil sketch that I did. So the last day, I think the last night, was just a few moments, and I was just standing there and I sketched this scene out. So this was like one in watercolor that I did, I think, a few days earlier, and I had more time. And then this was also in a different sketchbook, but this was just like me being able to take this sketchbook just for a few moments and kind of do a sketch. And one of the things that I like about sketching on plein air is that you'll feel and pick up colors that you may not have seen in the photo. That's one of the, I think, best benefits of plein air. So, and then more recently, this was some swatches for the palette that I was creating, and I was really enjoying, you can see, like putting these colors next to each other. And again, you can see how the watercolor sits on this paper. I just really enjoy it. Yeah, there's quite a lot of movement considering that it's not a watercolor paper. So yeah, it's something I quite enjoy. And yeah, again, you'll see like through these sketchbooks, I do quite a lot of color swatching as well. I feel like color swatching is so important to kind of figuring out those color stories. And yeah, so anyway, I do like to kind of go through sketchbooks quite a lot with that. So you can see here there are two cotton sketchbooks. One is a smaller one, one's a larger one. I think these were in last year's December gift guide or somewhere around there, a haul. But this little one here I put into a Chic Sparrow cover. This is, I think, a Pocket Plus. And yeah, the idea for this sketchbook, so I got this last year when Millie was a puppy, and I wanted to take this, so the reason I put it into the cover was I wanted to kind of take this out on our walks and just do little sketches. I think I tried it a couple of times. She is pretty full demand, especially when she was a puppy. She just, you've kind of always got to be watching her, and she doesn't really like you to be doing other stuff. So yeah, anyway, sketching with her is still something I'm working on. But yeah, so that didn't really work out, but I really love that little sketchbook, and just kind of, again, you can see like quite a lot of color work in there. This one I have been using for some pencil sketches. I've been just enjoying also kind of using it to play. So This was pastel, and then I put oil pastel over the top of it, and it wouldn't take where the pastel was. And so that's a technique that I really want to explore more. And you can see there was a lot more blank pages there. That one is probably the least filled. These two here are Indigo Artways maybe, but in the beginning of the year I put some pastel mediums in this one, and then by the end of the year I realized some pastel ground because I thought I needed the pastel ground to use the pastels in there. And by the end of the year, I realised that I just really enjoy the pastels straight on this cotton paper. There's enough tooth in the cotton paper to actually handle the pastels and to kind of hold that. So, yeah. I actually bought these with the intention of using watercolour in them, but I found that I really enjoyed the pastel on here better. So that might be something if you have gotten like a sketchbook or paper that you feel like I didn't really enjoy that. Maybe you could use it with a different medium, and yeah. So what else? So yeah, you can see here in the back I have just done again more pastel swatches, and yeah, I just can't stress enough how important it is to work on swatching your colours, mixing your colours, creating colour charts. It's so enjoyable as well. So here is a Pastelmat pad. You guys recommended this so much, and so I finally got one, and I've been using this more as like a sketchbook. I've been really enjoying it. I love how vibrant the colours, like the pastel colours, are on here, like how easy and quickly you can build up the piece. Yeah, it's really, really lovely. So okay, so these were a couple of sketches I did of the Christmas tree on the Pastelmat. I didn't film the whole thing because Millie was there, but hopefully you can see, and Rosie, hopefully you can see sort of how that was built up. I kind of left the middle of the tree there where it was dark, and you can see like that's kind of the pastel runoff, and just built up the colour around it, and then built up kind of the tree itself. So really enjoyable. And then this one again was more of a close-up of the tree, so I love doing that, like a zoomed out version and then a zoomed in version. And I put the kind of lights on, and then I started to put the tinsel in, and again you can see like I am being very quick, and just I'm kind of looking at the tree, seeing a colour that I can see, picking that one up, putting in a few marks, looking back at the tree, seeing a colour, and then kind of I kept building it up like that, just quickly, putting in kind of the little gold garlands, putting in a bigger pink bauble, and then I actually grabbed a bauble off the tree just so I could kind of look at that again very quickly. And yeah, I like I said, it's quite nice to be able to build something up quite quickly, and yeah, versus the watercolor one, which took quite a bit longer. So the other sketchbooks that I have, these two here have a cotton paper, and this is an Amalfi cotton paper made on the Italian coast. It's a beautiful paper. I have talked about, I get these from an Etsy shop. I've talked about her shop a lot. I really enjoy the papers she sells and things. You can see again like some mushrooms here I wanted to do on the channel this summer, and we haven't even gotten to this video yet, but we'll do that at some point. Again here, this was just a quick day. I was looking at this gouache and I did some color swatching, and I just wanted to kind of see how it mixed with water, how it went kind of down dry, and I really like it on this paper because of the texture of this paper. It sort of looks like it's on like you're painting on a canvas, even though it's just cotton paper. You can see here as well, like I kind of made a palette from that page, so I put the colors around the outside and then I mixed in the middle. And I've also swatched some of the colors that I got for my mum's palettes this year. It's been actually really nice. She has been working on watercolor this year and starting again with swatching. So yeah, and also with just looking at little flowers, how the blossoms, kind of how the petals go, how the little stems form and things like that. So it's really, really, I think, critical and crucial to understanding kind of how to paint to start with swatching and mixing and things like that. So here is a larger sketchbook. This is from Manufactus. They actually are back online. I know a few of you were waiting for this. So this is their largest sketchbook. Honestly, this is such a beautiful, it's a piece of art in and of itself, and the fact that you get to work in it is just so scrumptious. So they also have smaller ones, and shipping is expensive, but like I said, all up, the value in this sketchbook, it's just really, really so beautiful. So I can't express that enough. And there are so many pages, so I don't feel precious about it at all. I really enjoy the fact that there's so many pages, and I know I can just keep using it. So these sketchbooks here, these are kind of the last ones I think we'll talk about. These ones are more for literal just sketches and pencil and things like that. So you can see like some pencil swatches on the back. These are the handbook. So the first one was the watercolor ones we saw at the beginning of the video, and these ones have I think they have the Strathmore drawing paper in them. It's a really beautiful kind of creamy paper. This little one I got because I wanted to sketch out some of the flowers just in fine liner. So I was using the Copic Warm Grey in 0.1. So I will work on things separately. So if I'm working on how to paint with watercolor and how to control the water, control the pigment, then I'll also look at how to actually draw something. And I really liked this kind of small sketchbook. I decided that this is kind of a I'm not sure what to call it, but like very, very basic. Like I'm not worried at all. When I pick this up, I expect that the work may not be that good, and there's just such a kind of very free expectations of like, I don't mind if it's not good, I just need somewhere to kind of have a scratch pad. You can also see here, like I will write notes about things that I'm thinking about. So for example, contrast. I think often we think of contrast as something quite harsh and quite absolute, but I really want this kind of softness and airiness and kind of this delicacy that goes through the paintings. So kind of softness but with substance. So I talk more about that in there's a video not long ago Watercolor 101, how to choose a palette, something like that. I talk more about contrast in that video and kind of what my kind of thought process for it. But yeah, you can see kind of in the middle there's a bunch of pages still, and at the back I'll often if I want to kind of scribble something and just think through something or do color swatches, I'll often turn to the back of the book. And then if I want to kind of do something a little bit more elaborate, I'll turn to the front. So yeah, I do recommend kind of, if you're not sure about something, go to the back of the book. Yeah, it's a great way to work. So again, yeah, you can see like some just little sketches of some of the flowers that we saw last year, and then little bits of pencil in there. Sometimes it's just like a whisper of pink. You can see on the left there, I tried some watercolor on this paper. I really don't like watercolor on this paper. But again, that's something that is entirely personal preference. So if you enjoy watercolor on this paper, please feel free to use, watercolor. So it's just because I kind of work in a certain way doesn't mean that's, the only way to use a sketchbook. So I'm just kind of letting you know, my thought process. So yeah, you can see like just bits of pastel in here. One thing I did find this year is that I really love pastel on this paper as well. So the larger version of this sketchbook, it's still the same sketchbook. And again, I also like the linen, kind of the book linen on the front of the cover as well. So this is one I started in 2023, and I got this larger version to work on some more kind of intense frames and kind of more ornate things. So I wanted to kind of the exact opposite of the last sketchbook. When I picked this up, I really wanted to work more and think more and be more focused on what I was sketching, and really try harder to create some of what I was thinking about. So you can see I did some in 2023, and then I kind of have a 2024 section as well. And also, yeah, anyway, I've talked a little bit about this through the year. So, but one of the things I did enjoy, we kept having kind of vases of flowers on the table, and they would always kind of be making shadows onto the book. So I would just use pastels and create those shadows. You can see as well some of the pages are quick sketches, so it wasn't always, if I had this book out and I wanted to sketch something quickly, I just would. You can see here, like towards the back, I've just used pastels and quickly sketched some of these things. So there's always kind of room for versatility and to change kind of, how you're using the books. But just kind of mentally, I think of this one as more something that I grab when I want to work a little bit more on something. Or like for example, these ones were quicker, but they were large. The book was large enough to kind of hold that idea that I was wanting to work on. This one here, so I anticipate finishing that book this year, and I wanted to have another large one like that ready. So I got a large Hanemule Nostalgie, and this is where I'm working on. We're going to do this in the next video, but I've been working in this on my beginning of the year project for the emblems. So yeah, like I said, we will look more at this one. This is kind of the first sketchbook I have bought for this year, but I wanted to use this and have this one ready to jump into when I finish the other one, because I really do enjoy having like a large one this size where the paper's not as precious. I can kind of work in it. So the last sketchbook that I have is this one. This is the Talens one, Art Creations, I think. This is the pink champagne version, and I use this one again for ideas. I am not precious about it, and I really enjoy having this here just again to kind of bounce ideas off. I also use this on the channel to sketch things, and yeah, I really like having these kind of quick sketches but kind of all in one place, so rather than just having kind of bits of scraps of paper everywhere. Yeah, so I think it is important to have kind of less precious sketchbooks and then more kind of important sketchbooks. I don't know if that's the right way to say it, but ones where you feel like you can just pick it up and you're not concerned how the end result is, and then ones where you do work a little bit harder on that end result. So it's nice to have kind of both. Yeah. So this is a little sneak peek of something else I'm working on at the minute, and I've really been interested in and thinking about like an iCat chintz design. So anyway, and just kind of pattern with watercolor. So we'll see how that goes. Yeah, the other thing is it was my birthday. Well, it is kind of round about my birthday towards the end of January, and so you can see here how I'm storing things as well in these US Mama paper bags. I really love those, but I did my mum got me this really beautiful piece of stationery from Tiffany's, yeah, for my birthday. So it's really lovely, and I feel like when you see a Tiffany's bag, it's certainly not what you expect, but it's exactly what I love. So I'm really thankful for this. And what I wanted to say, so they send you like a little charm with it. But what I wanted to say as well, because it's my birthday and also nearly Valentine's Day, I'm going to put the course down. You can see the beautiful emblem here on the front. I'm going to put a coupon code in the description, and also I have just not been feeling well, so I got quite sick finishing the course before Christmas, and I've just been struggling to bounce back from that, so that's why the video's late. Thank you to those of you who have asked how I am on Instagram or on Etsy. Yeah, I just have not been feeling that well, so there won't be a shop update this month, and I actually am still waiting for a couple of the pigments. I forgot that that's part of the problem with because I order pigments that aren't like ordinary pigments. Yeah, sometimes they take a little bit longer to get, so some pigments should arrive in the next week or two, and then I'll start slowly organising a shop update, so that will be coming, but yeah, that's why the video has been a bit late, and so probably the next couple of videos may be 3 or 4 weeks between them. But there is a lot of content there in the course. There's so much about how to learn to paint, how to think through creatively constructing a painting, and I am so glad that you guys are enjoying it. Please continue to share your photos on there and things that you're thinking about. I know that everyone is enjoying the space. I'm really glad that it feels like quite comfortable and a little bit more that you're comfortable sharing things there. So yeah, anyway, I hope you have a really lovely week, and I will see you guys soon. Bye.